Hello. Hopefully the audio sounds good. This is 90.7 WVKC HD2, the voice of Knox. And I'm here with Jaki.
Hello.
Hello. I'm here finally, hopefully, with good audio. It is here. It is time. Fingers crossed. I'm excited. So obviously, let's just talk a bit about you first. Well, just say a bit about yourself.
I'm Jaki Hermann. I'm a senior here at Knox College.
Yes, you are.
This is a Knox College thing, so.
Yeah.
I'm an Anso Major, creative writing minor. I'm president of Improv, trio mentor, alumni ambassador, all of those things.
A lot of things.
Quite a few.
Quite a few things. I don't know if I knew about the creative writing minor. I knew about the Anso Major.
Yeah, I finished it last year, so. It's
like, so you've already done the minor part?
Yeah, I got it done.
Like, what kind of creative writing did you do?
I took a lot of Sherwood's playwriting stuff. And then,
yeah, that's right. I read one of your
Yeah, you read one of my plays.
I did.
So that, and then that was kind of how I did most of it. And then I also I took like an intro nonfiction and then fiction workshop. No, beginning fiction, then I did a nonfiction workshop. I don't know. I took both of those, and then one of them I took as a 300 level, but I can't remember which.
So, now that I know that.
Yep.
I didn't know that. I now re-know it. Just real quick, this episode is sponsored by Ice Mountain, 100% natural spring water. Because both me and Jaki are indeed drinking it. So, we're sponsored by it. So, to start the show off, we're of course going to talk about, and there's my mom. Hello.
Hi, Matt's mom.
We're of course going to first talk about the thing in which we both share, which is improv.
Of course.
As you said, you're one of the co-presidents of Improv.
Yep.
I'm a person in Improv as well, project manager.
Yep.
And I also still have a cough, by the way. That'll be there.
You got to get it checked out.
Probably do need it. I've had it like 2 weeks now, if not more.
You need to get checked out.
Yeah. So, improv. I mean, I suppose, I just saw, well, let's just start off with what happened this week where we got to meet an alum from Improv, John Budding.
Yeah, so we got to meet John Budding. He came and visited. We kind of met him in the Gizmo, and we got to talk a bit about how improv used to be when they first founded it, because there was like a couple people that were kind of a friend group that founded it together. Yeah. He gave some of his experiences with it. What changed? What's the same?
Yeah.
He founded Improv Fest, which we do this year, hopefully.
Hopefully, that if me and Joey sure hope so. Like, we're going to continue to do that. Yeah. I felt inspired listening to him talk. I was like, he's like speaking my language. He was like, they did so many gigs at first, apparently. Like,
yeah.
Didn't you say they did like a halftime?
They did a halftime show, and no one in the audience could like hear them. This was a halftime show, and it's improv, so it's just your voice.
It's just your voice, and it's like, they were horrible, but we got our name out there.
Yeah, so.
It's just so fun. No, like, it's just sort of inspiring to think that the club, the size it is now, the decent size it is now, started off with just like 8 people.
Yeah.
Like a group of friends.
Yeah, I think someone had counted last night. I think it was Josh, and he said we had like 25 people at rehearsal. Well, only like 9 of them were returners, so everyone else was a freshman.
Or like just a newcomer?
Or like a newcomer or a freshman. I think we don't have many that are newcomers that aren't freshmen, though.
That's really surprising.
It's like a lot of freshmen, but
I feel like,
and they're very talented this year.
Yeah, and I think they are enjoying it. I have no idea if they are. I think they'll stick around. But it's also that whole thing of like,
you get busy, and you're finding out what it is you want to focus your time on, right? So like, I decided from last year, well, I love Model UN, and I was exec. Yeah.
I didn't want to be on exec again. So I'm kind of honorary exec, apparently.
Yeah.
As Max would say. Because I wanted to focus more on improv and the radio show.
Yeah.
Those are like the 2 things I wanted to really focus on. And my academics, Mom. Don't worry about that. I wanted to focus on those things. And so other things have to kind of fall away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it stinks, but it happens.
It does happen. Speaking of, you and your experience with Knox, So your freshman year, you did not actually join.
No, I didn't. I
Officially.
just hung around and stalked from afar because none of them knew me.
I like to imagine just a younger Jackie always there
Yeah.
watching.
I went to all their shows. I was like a big fan, but none of them knew who I was. And I like went to 24 Hour when they had it, like with the intention of staying the full 24 hours.
Yeah.
But like when I got there, I was too scared to give suggestions. So I just sat there and I was like at one point the only person watching. And then Trevor, I think it was Trevor, that came up and was like, suggestion. And I was like, no.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
So and then there was another point like later in the night where like my grandma sent me a bunch of Rice Krispies. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna be here for a full 24 hours. They must be hungry. So I brought them like a gallon-sized Ziploc bag full of Rice Krispies and like just handed it to someone on exec and then went away.
Wow.
So
you provided food for everyone.
yeah, I think someone had mentioned this story last year. Someone was like, I remember those Rice Krispies. I couldn't remember where they came from. It was from me.
And then sophomore year, you finally came.
Yeah.
Was that fall term?
Yeah, that was fall.
And wasn't it? I mean, you should probably tell the story, but I think I remember. Well, if I recall, didn't Phoebe like kind of force you to go?
Yeah, because I had talked about the year before that we had something called Bring a Bro, where it was like just one rehearsal where it's like at the end of the year they're like, oh, bring your friends. So I had heard about it when they announced it at the show, but I didn't have any bros to bring me. So I just went and nobody really talked to me. Like they tried to, but it was like two upperclassmen that like were going somewhere like in the middle of rehearsals. So like they talked to me, but then they're like, we're leaving. And I'm like, okay.
Thank you for talking.
So I was like, all right. And then I don't think they went to Gizmo really after. So I just went home.
Oh, man.
So I'm like, oh, I went. I was close. But then the next year I had talked about it so much over the summer that Phoebe's like, we're going. You're going. And then I was like 5 minutes before, I'm like, I'm not going. And she's like, you're going. And then she dragged me there. But then I'm like, if you leave, I'm leaving because you can't make me stay. Yeah. And then she had to stay the whole time. So she was in it for a couple weeks. She was a member when I was a member because she made me stay. Yep. She still comes to rehearsals, but like not as much. It's more to watch. So
more to watch. Yeah. No, and I just love that because then from there, that end of that year, you would have gotten elected as vice president, right?
Yeah, I was vice president.
So what was it through that year that kind of showed your qualification? Like, how quickly did you get in? Like, how involved did you get with improv that first year?
I was involved in that, like the first year, like being VP, or like the first year member.
First year actually being in improv, yeah.
Yeah, like Eric said at rehearsal, I just kind of watched the whole year. Because I was too scared to go up, and whenever I would go up, my knees would shake, and I'd feel like really my stomach would get upset, and I was like, no. So I started off by doing like one scene each like rehearsal. And, like if I go up once, then I'm done for the night, and then I can relax and just watch. So that was like by second term, I've made myself like that was my rule. But by the end, I was like, okay, like 2, and then I would do 2. But I didn't actually get, by the end of the year last year, I was able to like do like, I think I did like 4 or 5 scenes in one rehearsal because it was like shorter form.
Dang.
I was like, my max. So now I'm fine sitting down during rehearsals, but as the like president, because you have to do more notes.
So it was like a step-by-step thing.
Yeah, I kind of made myself desensitized to the going up.
It's slowly. Like exposure therapy, right?
Pretty much. That's what I did. Like I would like freak out during like warm-ups, and then I would sit down. I'm like, okay, I'm okay now. And then like for half the rehearsal, I'm like, I'm going to go up, and then I wouldn't go up.
So what about improv made you want to stay despite the trembling of the knees and the uncomfortable feelings? Like what if clearly that was unpleasant?
Yeah, it was.
But what was it that was making you want to stay?
I liked all the people and I loved watching the scenes. So I'm like, I'm not going to leave because I like these people and I like watching them do their thing because they're really good at it. And I also like, I don't know, I'm an Anso major. So like, I like watching people. Yeah.
So you think, But why improv? Like, there were other places you could have watched people. Or
Yeah, I know.
So you think
I
it
know.
was specifically the individuals in improv?
Yeah, I think it was because like a lot of the people that were there, like, because I was also around the time because Phoebe had joined Quiver, and like a lot of people that were from Quiver were in improv.
Quiver and
point.
improv are
They're very close.
they're very close.
There's a lot of
at least right
overlap.
now.
I mean, still, yeah.
Yeah.
So like that was kind of like one of the first like majority Quiver are also in improv groups.
Yeah.
So like I kind of knew them because she was hanging out with them. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like stay because they're here too. So it was like the people, and like I'm like I need to get better at public speaking. That was like a reason for me to stay. But like I had been obsessed with the club like for a whole year before that. So I'm like, if I stop coming, I'm gonna like stop coming. There was also a point once where I was in like the calf and like Joel passed by me, and I was like, "You haven't been to rehearsal," because I missed like one because I was like too tired to go or I felt sick or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, I can't go." And then I'm like, "I might miss the next one." And then he was like, "You weren't there. Why not?" I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Oh, no. It's sort of the interrogation of why weren't you there?
Yeah. So and then I was like, "Oh, okay. I've been noticed that I'm present even though I'm not doing anything." So.
Improv does do a good job of that, of noticing who's there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a club where you can sit for a whole year and like it's fine.
Yeah.
Like I was completely comfortable like just sitting and like no one yelled at me to go up.
And there are also people like me and Aaron and other people who are like leap up.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
yeah, and it's even like that's why we play the games multiple times too. Is like so like if you're like me and you're like I'm not quick enough to get up the first time, like by the third time where everyone's like, oh, we can move on, like that's when I would get up. I wouldn't get up ever to like the third game.
I sometimes feel bad wanting to jump up right away.
I mean, it's not something that we feel bad though, because like everyone knows when they get up.
Yeah.
Like everyone kind of has an idea when they're gonna jump up.
Yeah.
So you don't have to feel bad about going up first.
That's fair. And plus, I've been making a habit of sitting next to the freshmen, so like if I see one of them getting up, I'll like go.
Yeah.
You go. You have fun. I'll like say like I've done a whole year of this. You go.
Yeah, that was like a funny thing too. When I was like still like new with it, whenever I would like actually go up because I'd go up so like little, everyone would like scream, and I was like, oh shit. I'm like, oh no, I have to do a good job. But
Chris is saying hi.
Oh, hello.
Chris is a lovely person from my homeland, and I hope to teach people back home improv at some point. That's like on my metaphorical proverbial list of life. Bringing improv to Marion High School and just Marion in general is on that list of things. It's a long list though. There's a lot of things on that list that I want to do. So it's a bit of a pain.
You'll get to it.
But I will get to it eventually. Gosh, so you did that year, and then you got elected vice president alongside Hannah.
Yep.
How was that?
It was good. We were like a really good team, like working on stuff because we're both. Hannah's also kind of like more quiet within like the clubs and like kind of.
Unless
Hannah
you're playing.
Hotspot. She like.
Hannah will.
That's her game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like we both kind of are like have a similar volume level. Yeah. And like kind of we're in the same sort of like comfort level of like when we would go up. I think a lot of the time Hannah and I would end up going kind of up at the same time or like a game or two apart. Just because we kind of were in the same pattern of when we would go up. So like we kind of were used to working with each other in scenes, so it kind of helped with the whole position. With the whole
position being together. And I mean you guys did something right because I mean there were a lot of freshmen involved.
Yeah. That was like kind of
because that's part of what VP does is
we were really hoping to try and like because the club has gotten so big we were hoping to like kind of integrate all the groups together so they would still be like together. Cohesive even though there's like 25 people like it's easy to make a clique or like kind of make a rank within that size of a group but we were trying to avoid it and that was like our main goal for the year.
And like I feel like I thought about this recently, mostly because I guess I'll get into it. Like groups of people will inevitably form no matter what, especially if you get to a size of about like 20 something, right? Because you definitely have like the Adam, Tegan, like the Sherwin people. You have like you have different groups of people. But I think the thing to avoid, and we've been doing a good job of avoiding, at least last year and this year, is those groups not intermingling with each other. If that makes sense. So like our groups do intermingle with each other.
Yeah.
I might have missaid that because
Yeah,
you
I was
looked
like,
at me
wait, what?
very confusedly. What I mean is our groups do intermingle with each other. So groups do exist, but the Sherwin group of people are still talking to like returners and you know, they're still
we still like make sure everyone like, I mean, that's also the kind of the personality of the people in improv club though too, are like, we're all like most like the older group of us, we're all senior, like, because it was like bubble group, huge senior class, like lesser, your guys' class is pretty big and then this class is huge. So
like
just being like, even though we're all still busy, we're still like getting to know everyone in the club too, which is like kind of the individuals in the club, not just.
That's been like, as I'm sure you've noticed, my major focus. Yeah, is like, to know the freshmen. Like, and they're all wonderful people, and I love them all. And Chris can attest. Anytime there's new people coming up into a school, I'm like, or a place, I'm like, come, I will tell you the ways of things. It's just what I enjoy doing. But so yeah, you did the vice president role very well. I mean, Thanks. I think literally the only freshmen that are no longer like really involved, either transferred or have often said to me, I wish I had time to come to improv more. Yeah. Like I won't even bring it up, but like Monse sometimes will just be like, I wish.
Yeah, I see Monse all around. I saw Monse today and I was like, Monse.
And like Sebastiano wishes he could come more. I know. Yeah. And then like we had 3 people transfer out.
Yeah, we did. That was sad, but they're happy where they're at, I think, as far as I've heard. So
all the new fresh or all the people that transferred. Yeah, it was Bridie, Luke, and Allie. Allie, who was a bigger part of improv winter term. Yeah. Transferred spring term or left spring term. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a great thing. And the rest of us stuck around, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure there are others who did not as much, but like for the most part, even those that don't still come time to time. Yeah. And want to come more.
And that's like nice too, is like, since we're just so open, like with membership and like who can come when, people that like don't have time can come whenever. And like they can still like learn the games because we're teaching it there and then. So
yeah. No, which is fan-freaking-tastic. Yeah.
Is that the improv chat?
Yeah, so real quick, I'm going to say this here, but I'm also going to type it out as I say it. There's only one mic. One mic. You heard that? Only one mic for the WVKC. It would be hard to share it'd be hard to share this one mic, okay? So we are not doing it on the actual thing, though I am still advertising. WVKC is amazing. They just need to fix this other mic. Once that other mic is fixed, then of course it'll be back. Yeah. It would be hard to share this mic. So only Facebook for now. Yeah, so only Facebook for now. Until they get the mic fixed. Yeah. So now that little interim is done, yeah, that's the truth. Because they currently there's only one mic that works, and it's this one right here. Yeah. The other mic does not currently work. It has has an out of order piece of paper scotch taped to it, which either means it is truly out of order or it's a joke. It's a prank.
It says issue with cable. I feel like that's a valid reason.
Yeah, I feel like that's valid. So I'm gonna look at this laptop that I have for reference real fast. I mean, so what we were talking about. You've been talking about your improv story. So you did the vice president thing. Us freshmen, me, stayed around, which clearly shows that you guys are doing your job well. And then came you and Trisha, now presidents.
Yeah, we're presidents now.
And the decision there was sort of unique from what I understand. Or like you two were just sort of like, let's do it.
Yeah, we were just we both wanted to run and it made sense. Yeah. So we were like, okay. because everyone else kind of seemed like, because I mean, Alex and Josh both, we're not sure if they wanted to do it again the next year, and they kind of both like teeter-tottered on like which if they wanted it.
They weren't as sure-footed about wanting
Yeah,
to do
and like,
it again.
I mean, I had known that I wanted to do it, and Trisha would kind of like was like, oh well, I wanna. But yeah, Trisha's been like really great as like a co-president because she's very good with the planning and stuff.
Yes.
And like I'm more good with like the social and like running exec. So.
And I think you guys have been doing fantastic.
Thank you. I hope all of them stay.
Again, I think the freshmen are very emblematic of that, of how good you guys are doing. I'm at least having a good time. There's this very interesting thing that I'm just experiencing as second year improv person.
Yeah.
Of like, sort of, I think I was talking to Aaron about this once. This like urge to like, yeah, we want to improve via improv, but the way we do it, which is the way we should keep doing it, is the simple learning the first few lessons, like back to the basics and then go.
Yeah.
Which is totally the way we should do it and continue to do it. But me and Aaron are still talking like, as people who've just come back, it's like sort of jarring. You're like, oh yeah, we're not doing long form. We're not doing.
Yeah, it's like I really want to do just a Herald to just do one and then go back to the short form.
That could be a fun Friday thing if we end up doing those in the future.
Yeah. Oh, also for people that don't know, a Herald is like a long form improv format. We usually do it spring term.
Yeah.
That's our like game. But
that's the long form point.
Yeah, so it's like you work your way up to the Herald, and then each year you reset.
It's really interesting to go through that reset. Like I've just been like,
it's a lot to go back to, and you're like, oh wait, what?
But it's also I think good because it's bringing you back to those basics.
Yeah, so like
that need to be refined.
Yeah, for returners, it's good to be like, hey,
basics.
Who are you, and what are you in the scene? But then for like people, it's still like, oh. What do I have to establish in the first 4 lines?
Yep.
Like
I am horrible with names. Mostly because I feel like I put too much thought into my names or not enough, one of the two. So if I don't put enough thought into the names, I forget the name that I just gave them.
Yeah.
But if I put too much thought, it ends up being a name like Hubadoo. It becomes a D&D name that I have to come up with off the top of my head.
Yeah. I think that's why we end up like with the set like 3 or 4
names.
Like Cletus.
I'm glad Cletus has been added
Cletus
to the list.
Stayed. I was really happy when Cletus first happened, and then now Cletus is still happening, and I'm overjoyed.
Chester has
died.
returned, but Chester as a name in improv has the actual thing has come back.
The one you started.
Yeah, the improv Chester is sort of not there, which I'm fine with because Chester's whole character
came from the comics. Came to improv when it stopped in the comics, and now is back in the comics. So Chester's busy with their day job.
Yeah. So, oh man. So I think you guys have been doing great. I've been really enjoying this year. Freshmen are great. I'm excited for the next show, November 2nd.
Yep.
There's a lot of work being done for fundraising in the future so we can get better mics and videos and trips in the future. I still need to work. I know I've spent, which I'll talk to my mom later about why I've spent so much money this term because it has less to do with like my actual living and more to do with some bigger purchases I made beginning of the term that stacked up, right? Because they're bigger purchases. But I'll be working again over winter break as well. I'm wanting to buy tickets and I might just put it on my Christmas list for the improv camp this next summer that Teresa recommended on this very show. Teresa recommended it. Teresa's great. Gosh. So, well, improv is a big part of your Knox experience.
Yep.
Let's, for a moment, take a break from improv, though I'm sure we will return to
we'll
it
probably get back.
undoubtedly, and talk about your decision to come to Knox.
Yeah. So, when I was still looking at schools, I was we kept visiting Western, and like from my house in Elgin, you have to go like west to get to Western. And we would always kind of pass by like Knox by a couple towns over, and my dad's like, "Oh, you keep hearing about this place from people." I'm like, "I know it's like a private school, and you're looking at public schools, but it sounds like it'd be like a good one."
Good one.
And they're both purple, and you like purple, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll try the purple school." So like we came and visited once. We visited once, and that was when like the admissions office was in CFA, where the like lounges where now the gallery is.
Yeah.
That space has gone through a lot in the past couple years.
Yeah, it's for some. Log in. I don't know if this is for me or for someone else.
Yeah.
Changes may not be saved. I don't want to reload the site. Why would it do this?
I don't know.
Timed out? So, it's possible.
Technical.
You may not be saved. What if I hit cancel?
I don't know.
Just, I guess, maybe
Gotta
what I
be
need
something.
to do. We're back.
Woo.
So, apparently it timed out on me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense. You were like 30 minutes in. I've done way longer shows just straight out. I don't know. It just, I guess, maybe
Gotta
what I
be
need to do
something.
is like actually comment every once in a while. Maybe
Maybe.
that's it. So, hopefully people find their way to this. If not, oh well.
Yeah.
So what we were talking about is you coming to Knox. You have
Yeah.
been looking at public schools.
Yeah, so I was looking at Western, and I was kind of split between like here and Western. And like it ended up being Knox costed more for me than if I would have gone to Western. But like when I came and visited, like everyone was really nice, and like people in my classes like walked me like to the classes, like for the classes that I sat in on. So it was like, I don't know, the people were real great. The campus was small, and it was like more homey. And I liked that it was like, I don't know, like at the bigger schools, they're like, oh, like stuff looks like newer,
Yeah.
but it's not like a homey newer. Like
Yeah.
even when we visited Bradley for the one like
Yeah.
improv show that we saw there, like just going up in their classrooms, I like remembered why I came to Knox, because I'm like it looked very sanitized.
It
and
looked
like
very.
it wasn't like going through Old Main. I was like, oh, like these people like live here.
Yeah.
Like
Ugh,
it was a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot different feeling.
It doesn't feel as like home as
Yeah.
Knox does. You're right. So for everyone who just got here, it timed out.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I've never heard of Facebook timing out before. So we're back though for part 2. That just means 2 videos you get to see. Hopefully just 2.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see.
If
it
not-
turns out again, we'll restart.
I'll literally just look it up like after we're done with this
Yeah.
whole show and be like, how did not have it do that? So yeah, the similar thing for me. I feel like I've said it a lot. This I might not say it again. I'll just really quickly
I haven't heard
summarize it. Oh, well then you get to hear it, and then everyone else can suffer. So I was also looking at colleges, mostly smaller colleges. I think the only big colleges looking at was Arkansas and Penn State.
Yeah.
Which I got accepted by both.
Ooh.
I got accepted by a lot of colleges. I've heard stories of a lot of people who like only went for Knox and no other college. I'm like, I sent them
Yeah, I
out
said for
there.
a couple.
I think the final decision was between University of North Carolina, Asheville, which is another liberal arts college, except it's in the mountains. And so a lot of hills. I remember walking it through campus.
Yeah.
And then Knox. And when I visited Knox, it just felt, I come from a very flat place and a small town in Illinois. And to me, it was like, I was telling my dad, like, it feels like a summer camp here.
Yeah, it kind of does. I think college is kind of, it does feel a lot like a summer camp.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know. I've grown so much here that I don't know what I would have done if I didn't come here.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Like, I think about that. So it's like, what if I went to another college?
Like, if I went to another college, I don't know who I would be. I would not be me.
Yeah, I feel like I just wouldn't have the same strong connections that I have here.
Yeah.
Because at Knox, it's so small and everyone knows each other. And it's just a very human. By the way,
Oh, the whole water's gone.
I'm out of water. Which
Sponsored.
means we are sponsored by Ice Mountain 100% natural
I'm
spring
like
water.
close. I've been pacing myself though.
I've just
Got
been
a
trying
little
to
bit.
survive.
Oh yeah, because you get your cough still.
Cough storm. Let's see how many times we can bring up my cough.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
I
my fault.
really am worried. You need to get it checked out.
I do need to get it checked out, and I recognize that.
Health center ladies are very nice.
Yeah.
They give me my allergy shots every week. It's perfect.
So speaking of allergy shots,
Oh no.
no, I'm not going to bring this up. I literally, I was. This
No,
was
you're
a
good.
non-segue. This
Yeah,
was
go
a
go.
let's turn a U-turn. So you came to Knox for the obvious reasons we stated. Feels very like home compared to other colleges and so on. And like, but why, besides the issues with transferring with trimesters and all that sort of thing, why'd you stay? What aspects of Knox, what was it that really made you go, I'm staying here? I made the right decision. Like, was there a moment where you said, boom?
I mean, I don't think I ever really considered transferring either. Because I was like, I've made a decision. And like, once I make a decision, I'm like, with it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll like buffer for a long time. But once I make one, I'm like, this is it. I'm just going to sit through it till it's done.
But you're almost to that point.
Yeah. So, I mean, because also, like, being like first gen, I didn't really know. I wouldn't have known how to transfer. I would have just been like, oh, this is too much work. I'm just going to stay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also, like, the people that I had met was really not, like, were really good. In freshman year, I was, like, a bit rough with, like, kind of who I was living with. Mm-hmm. But I got through it, like, fine. No names.
Yeah.
Like, I got through it fine. And, like, freshman year did kind of suck. But, like, sophomore year was, like, where I picked up. And, like, I joined improv. And, like, but I mean, freshman year, I was involved with trio. So, like, everyone that I met, like, those are, like, my two families. I'm, like, trio was, like, the one where, like, I latched onto freshman year. Sophomore year, I latched onto improv, but I've been like stuck with both the whole like 4 years. So,
well, I feel like before we talk about anything involving the end of your Knox career and moving forward with that, we should talk about arguably maybe a more influential part of your life, or at least equal in influence and weight in your life to improv. Trio.
Yeah.
Which I know like nothing about.
Okay, well, I'll give you our spiel.
Yeah, give me your spiel.
Trio's for first generation college students, low income students, or students that have like any sort of like disabilities or anything like that. And it helps them get through college. So when I had no clue what Trio was because I'm first gen. So, like, the whole applying to college was, like, a very weird experience, too. And, like, doing the FAFSA, I was like, what's going on? Like, the whole thing was, like, what is the actual fuck? But, like, I almost didn't apply to Trio. It's kind of funny because the one girl that I had been talking with I knew was going to Knox, she was also, like, first gen. And I'm like, oh, I got this email.
And that's first gen of Trio?
Yeah, like first gen, like going to college. Like she was also
that
like
makes
Trio
sense
eligible. But she was a freshman going into Knox too. So like right when you get to Knox, they're like sending you all these forms and you're like, you have to fill all this stuff out or like apply for this. And you're like, okay. So one of the things that I got was like a Trio thing, like, hey, you should apply like to be a part of our program.
Yeah.
And I had no clue what it was. So I'm like, do you know what this is? And she's like, oh, kind of. It's like this. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, Mom, should I do that? And Mom was like, it sounds good. I'm like, she's not. And then Mom was like, and? I'm like, okay.
Did I not?
She's like, you can apply, right? All you have to do is write a little bit. And I'm like, okay. So I did. And then they're like, oh, you're in Trio now. And I'm like, okay. So I like went and I'm like, what is this? So like freshman year, the program's a bit different now because we switched, like we have a summer bridge program now and like mentors like myself, like all throughout the year. But when I first started, and like still now too, there's like a Trio class that you take your first term and that's kind of like, here, go talk to your professors and that's part of your grade. Here, go use Red Room and that's part of your grade. And it's like, here, go to the business office and that's part of your grade. Like it makes you do the stuff for your grade, which is a very excellent idea. And it's like, here, go like meet with one of the writing tutors for your grade. Like, so it's like a little mini like half credit class that they just kind of tack on to what you're taking your first year. Maybe it's a credit. I think it might be a credit now.
Just a whole credit?
Just like a whole credit where you go and they're like,
wow.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have an actual like physical class you go to.
Okay.
But it's
so
also
not
like
a bonus.
No, it's like your homework is use the resources on campus that are like for you.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't be homework, but it was a good way to like learn all that stuff.
And to incentivize people to actually learn how to use those things.
Yeah. So kind of that was the whole thing. And like I had a mentor freshman year, but like we didn't talk too much. So like when the end of the year came around, also you have to go to like to maintain your status in trio, you have to go to at least like 2 events per term. And because I just really liked the people,
yeah.
I just kept going to events and like showing up, and then I would get there early because I always do everything. And then the women that are in charge of trio, like the 3 women, were just kind of like, they would just be around setting up, and I'm like, can I help you set up? And they'd be like, okay. So like they knew me by like, I would get there early and I would like help them out.
Yeah.
And then when it came time for them to like ask for mentors, like my trio advisor, who like the advisor that you have through trio is the teacher of your class for the first year of trio. I was kind of like, oh, you should like apply or like think about it. I'm like, okay. And I went to like, they had 2 info sessions. I went to both because I thought you had to go to both, but it was the same thing. The second info session was just no one else came because it was the second one. So there was just like the 3 women that would be hiring me and me just all sitting in like Ferris Lounge in the dark, waiting for more people to come. And I was just like, oh, is there no one else coming? She's like, oh, you don't have to come. You came to the last one. I'm like, can I stay though? She's like, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I just talked with them, and that was like, I think a very informal interview, but that was the first. So I was like a member of because they changed how the program works for mentors.
Yeah.
So like my sophomore year when I was a mentor, I got my first 7 mentees, and how they changed it is like 7 mentees to 1 mentor. So there were 7 mentors, each with 7 mentees. That's math.
That's 7. 7 times 7. Chris, if you're still watching, put that in the comments.
But pretty much it was that, and like that group was also mainly seniors. So like they all graduated right after, like at the end of that year. So I missed them all, and I like, they were really important to like, because they helped me grow, because I was only a sophomore.
Yeah. And
I was like trying to help freshmen. So like I knew what the freshmen had gone through because I'd done it recently, but it was just, they were my mentors. They were mentoring me as a mentor.
Yeah,
like Marilyn.
Like you were the one like mentoring them. But helping you grow.
Yeah, true. Like Marilyn, for like a lot of people my year, they'll remember her too. But she was just the best mentor I've ever seen. So I was just like trying to model her and like mentoring. And I got some of it, but I will never be like, she's top tier.
Jeez. So. See, I've always sort of a side tangent. Yeah. Well, not like the side tangent. It's about what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, mentoring programs have always been a thing I've wanted to be a part of, and always like wanted to, because like things like RA, this trio you're talking about, and in high school they had like mentor programs that I apparently had a mentor. Never met the person.
Yeah, it's kind of a hit or miss with mentors. Like, it depends also on like, because each mentor group though, like some of people in the past that have been mentors, like if you don't relate to that group that you're a mentor for as much, you're not going to do as much to mentor. Yeah. Like I really relate with trio, so like when I'm reaching out, I'm like on all the time. Yeah. So like, but like someone that like either is more busy or like it's just kind of like, oh, this is something that I do like every now and again, isn't going to reach out like as much as someone like me, where I'm like, I'm just always here. Yeah. So I might as well.
Oh. Yeah, because like I always just find myself mentoring in like third, like in indie mentoring, as it were, just independent. But I really feel like being an RA or something would be really fun. It's just like, and it takes money off your thing. It's just, it would be another thing that I'd have to add to my schedule.
Yeah. And like the RAs are also very, very busy.
They're very busy. Yes.
That's right. Because I had been on, I'm like, I can try and be an RA, but then I went to the wrong lounge. So I never actually figured out what you needed to do to be an RA. I'm like, it's fine. Okay. I like where I'm at. Yeah. And I like don't have to go to meetings. So it's nice.
Very true. Oh dear. Oh, that's at 5:27.
No.
Already happened. My mom messaged us apparently like you either froze or paused. It was like a while ago whenever the show ended. So we're good.
So they're making fun of you.
I know they are. So yeah, I could probably do it in my head if I really sat down. It's like so I could. But I'm also doing a show. And I don't want to have to think mental math in the middle of a show where I'm supposed to be listening to Jaki and thinking of things to talk about. So thank you for doing that mental math for me, Chris. It's 49, by the way. 7 times 7 is 49. I now know that now. It's dedicated to memory. 7 times 7, 49. Yeah. So Trio, you are now a senior involved in Trio.
Mm-hmm. This is my 3rd year as a mentor. I've had roughly 21 mentees overall.
Has Trio grown beyond that 7 times 7 number, or?
This year I was supposed to have 8, but my 8th one is missing and I can't find him. So I've emailed him twice. I'm not sure. Like, I also have a phone number that may or may not be his cell phone. I just don't want to be, like, too creepy.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, like, I can find him, but it looks like he's gone into the distance, and I don't know. Because he didn't come to Bridge, so, like, it's hard to reach out after that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, so roughly, because I also adopt mentees off of other mentors sometimes. Like, Brian White graduated a term early, so I took a couple of his for, like, 3rd term.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's roughly 21.
Where does the Trio differ from the Spark? Right? Because Trio, it's specific individual Knox students. Mm-hmm. Spark is a college run thing, right?
Yeah, so Trio is like a federal like program, and then Spark is through Knox. Yeah, so like there's a lot of overlap. Like the first year that I was a mentor, we had people that were doing Spark and Trio, but their summer program's also different. So for them, they're doing like classes and coursework for that like week and a half or so. But we're doing like just get to know you stuff and like here's all the stuff on campus you need to know, or like get registered with a business office so you can get a job right when they put them out at the beginning of the term, like it's stuff like that we do. Where for Spark, they try and do all that, but then they also are getting course credit by being here early. So for Spark, it's more like academic driven, like right from the start, and then Trio, it's more like maintained throughout the year. Like we're more of like Spark does too, and they have like different programming too, but like we're more of a slow burn in that we're like, you have us for a long time, so like we're gonna make
be
sure.
There. Yeah.
And like the woman that ran Spark, Laura Bush, when my Trio advisor Stephanie Woodard left, because now she runs the Carl Sandburg Upward Bound Science Math program.
Okay.
Laura came and took her spot because the position that Laura had was a timed, like the grant that they got to make Spark is only so long. So she switched over to Trio. Make sure she still has a position. She was with Trio before she switched to Spark, but now she's back with Trio.
Because Trio is more long term, like definitely gonna be there, sort of thing.
In this political climate.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the first things that the current administrator, that was one of the things they went after. But we have a very strong network.
The current federal administration.
Yeah.
Really?
They tried to cut Trio. They tried to cut a lot of programs, but Trio was one of the things that was undercut. But
what was their reason that they gave for wanting to cut Trio?
I don't know.
This is the Trump administration?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What was their reason?
I don't remember. I think they were just trying to. They just are trying as a general thing. They try and cut money from education.
That's a very.
Who knows why? But yeah, that was one of the things they tried to cut from Trio, but instead. Everyone in Trio threw like such a big fit, and now we have more money. So it worked in our benefit.
That's really funny. So you guys are like, no, you can't cut us. Give us more money. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Because we have like our current numbers for Knox are very good, like as a retention rate.
Yeah.
It was very, very high. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it was like in the 90s of like getting people that stayed through. To graduation, which is like absurd.
Yeah.
Considering like if you pair it to like the people at Knox of the same demographic that aren't in Trio. So we do a good job for the people that show up and making sure they show up.
That's good. But retention rate is good. sort of reminds me of the improv retention.
Yeah.
Right? Which I think was it you? I was talking with someone where I'm like, I feel like 5 people at least staying from every year is like ideal, because then you have like 5. You have at least
roughly
20.
Roughly an exact number.
Oh, 5?
5-ish.
Yeah, you're right. And the reason I say that is just like, I think of my grade group's returners, it's about 5. I think it's actually 6, because it's me, Dagan, Aaron, Simone, Lily, and then
Liam joined your guys' year.
True, Liam would be.
But he would be a junior still. He's like me. He came a year late.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's a good number to like have it as like steady, consistent like members that are helping explain stuff. It's good.
Yeah. See, now I feel like I've forgotten someone. I don't feel like I did. Aaron, Simone, Jagan, Matt, Lily. I do not feel like I've forgotten. If I have, I am very deeply sorry.
Max comes and goes.
Max is one who comes and goes, yeah.
Yeah, Max comes. I don't know.
Max is signed up, I believe, for the next improv show.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
he wanted to, he just wasn't able to do that first one.
Yeah.
You were talking about
He's busy, he's not right.
Yeah, busy guy. But he's like, I want to do at least this one. So
yeah. There's quite a few people that I think that signed up. I'm excited to see actually how many
freshmen signed up.
Yeah, because there was quite a few that there was a play going on that they couldn't make it because they had the play for the first show, but now they're all like, and I'm like, oh geez.
They're like, we're ready.
Gotta put you all in games.
Ooh, it's exciting. Man. So I was wondering if I have some trio. I'm surprised about the funding. Well, I'm not that surprised about the whole funding thing, let's be honest.
It was kind of something that was going on that like wasn't really mentioned much. I think they did write a TKS article about it at one point though. For like the Knox particularly area. So.
Do you have, I guess before we move on from trio, do you have any like because trio is a thing where you mentor people, right? Mm-hmm. And for the most part, that's mostly to get them through college. But do you have any stories about names of like a time where like maybe you were really impacted or you really impacted someone, and like took the whole mentoring thing and brought it to?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like each year I have at least one mentee who has like small to major crises, and it's always like a different thing. Like whether it be like mental health or like one of them like a family member passed away like pretty early on when they got here, and just like and like you kind of get some repeat like smaller stuff happen too that you kind of have to like all right, it's gonna be fine. Or like if they want to transfer, you have to be like, all right, if you transfer, like here's how you do it, and like all that stuff. But yeah, it was just there's always like one major thing. I'm trying to think of like a good story, like.
It doesn't even have to be heartwarming. It can be good. It can be funny.
I mean, it's just one of my mentees, my freshman, like not my freshman, my sophomore year, my first year as a mentor. She's now like a mentor too. So like she's got her mentees from. Well, she was a mentor last year and this year, so she's had like 7 each time. It's like last year when we were all like first getting to know the mentees, because this year kind of went quicker because. They shaved off a day of our programming, and we also had like a lot go wrong, so people didn't get to bond as much because it was like rain and.
Wait, that was just this year, right? Mm-hmm. I remember that because someone was telling me that it had rain.
It was bad. The power went out in the CTL when we were trying to move them in. It was awful.
Oh no! Yeah, we had all those power outages beginning.
Yeah,
of this year.
it was. There was no reason. Absolutely. But yeah. So for her, like last year though was when like everyone was really, really. Like tight with all of like the mentees at least, but I would go up to her mentees and I'm like, I'm your grand mentor, like what do you need? like if they had a question they'd be like, oh, you're my grand mentor. I'm like, okay. But yeah, for like trio, like I call them my kids. I call improv ones my kids though too.
Yeah,
sorry. You're passing your cough to me.
It spreads.
But like yeah, I would call them my kids. All of them are my kids. But I'm like, oh, you're my... Or like when I introduce... Like a lot of the times I'll have like mentees that I had like in past years, since I've had like 2 different years sets of like 7. they'll pass me when I'm doing a meeting, and they know exactly what I'm doing because I always do like the meetings in the same place, and I like look the same when I'm like writing down and like asking them how they're doing. So they'll like pass me. They're like, "Are you doing a meeting?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "This is your like brother, sister, like this is your like older sibling, like this is what they do, this is what you do, like get to know each other." Since like they don't always get to like relate to each other's, So it's funny, just like them like some of them like will call me mom still. They'll be like, "Mom," and I'll be like, "What do you need?"
What do you need?
I'm like, what do you need, child? I'm like, "How are you doing?" And like for the one, she just has like her mentees, and she's like, "Oh, like this is like when she would first introduce me to like her mentees, like right when Trio Bridge started that year. She's like, "This is your grand mentor. Her name's Jackie. If you need anything and I'm not there, ask her." Like, okay.
That's awesome.
But
that's awesome. That's awesome that you're. That's what I hope to reach someday with like improv. I hope to reach a point where it's like I've been there so long, and now people are like, grand, whatever. If you're the elder. I look forward to that
improv day. Shadow council.
I can't wait to be. We can't talk about the shadow council that much, but I can't wait to be part of it.
I've heard people talk about it. I don't think it's so secret. It's shadow. It's gonna follow you.
It's gonna follow you wherever. That is the point. My actual goal is once I graduate, is to make the shadow council like an actual Facebook.
Oh yeah, there might be one.
I don't know.
If it's a shadow council and they have a rule that you can't talk about it, it might already be a thing, and they might just add us later. I would guess.
Maybe.
I don't know how it works. I would make one if there's not.
If there isn't, I will.
I'll add you to it. I'll wait a year if you want to make it.
No. You less work for me.
Okay.
I'm down.
We can have like a group meeting instead or something.
Yeah. So talk about all that. Let's talk about just Knox experiences in general, and specifically one that we've been sort of memeing about.
Are they still on?
I don't know, but
Ice Mountain.
We cannot say names.
Nope, cannot.
We cannot. But so earlier in this term, we went on a Bradley trip to watch our fellow improvisers in Bradley perform. It was really great. We brought a lot of freshmen. We ate Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
We were almost too late, which is my bad. I should have, because I'm the one who's like, let's leave this time.
Yeah, I had noticed the time, and I'm like, all right, guys, you should eat quicker. And they were like, oh, okay. But you were also, like, getting all your sauces, so that was the main goal.
Yeah. And we surely should have left, like, had the meet-up time to leave 15 minutes earlier, because we were also a little late to leave, because obviously the Knox 5. And,
that's right.
Like, I should have accounted for that. The traffic, just... So, I'll know that for next time. But we came back, and lo and behold, it was the first registered party was happening that night of the year.
Yep.
And so partying was had. There was a pregame party at GQ, which is a frat my roommate is a part of. Very nice. I very rarely like parties, but I liked that party, mostly because I knew everyone there. And some of the freshmen that came along, and just people in general.
Yeah, people in general. It wasn't just
freshmen. There was a lot of people who went a little overboard. And so me and Jackie had to take care of them.
Yep.
One of them ate one of my G20s.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. One of them ate my G20s. And then cleaned the sink they threw up in, which is really nice.
Yeah, that was nice, though. I washed down the smell with a lemon because apparently it also gets rid of gnats. Oh. So that was a problem I was having in the apartment. I'm like, well, the lemon will have a dual function.
I remember that because when I was there, there's a lot of gnats.
Yeah, so I just lemon peel.
Me and Jackie were taking care of people. I drove one person home. And when I got back, one of the people who was fairly drunk, but I didn't think was that bad, was very bad.
It was very bad, yeah.
And
I mean, not bad. It was
not
just
like we need to call a hospital bad, but just vomiting and not
which
pleasant.
Is gonna happen.
And at one point, we were trying to get them to drink water. So you should drink water. It'll also help you throw up what you're having there, because they were just throwing up phlegm.
Yeah.
And so we got them. We were trying to get them to drink Ice Mountain 100% natural spring water, and they would refuse. They did not want to drink it at all. And it took a lot of convincing to get them to drink it. Eventually we did.
Yeah.
You threw it up. It's a good time. A lot of things were said.
A lot of hostility towards the mountain water.
And towards me, the one trying to get them to drink it.
Yep, I was just cleaning up things as they happened.
You were probably doing better than I. I was just like
I
going
was
like,
more
drink the
concerned
water.
about like health in general and like making sure that no hair was touched by the grossness.
By the grossness, the phlegm.
Yep. That was the main concern.
And then after the throw up was had and they were feeling much better, I lullabied them to sleep with Tales of the Cosmic Egg.
Yep.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about. Actually, that's probably going to be in the October wrap-up I do with Eric later. We'll probably talk a lot. I mean, we can talk about the Cosmic Egg if we want, but like, there's other things to talk about. We'll do that if we're like, we've said everything we want to say, but we also technically have more time we want to keep talking, which probably won't because it is hot in here.
Yeah, it is warm.
It is very warm.
It got warmer.
Yeah, I think it's because there's bodies in here and I no longer have water.
It's all gone.
It's all gone. So we did that, and then we essentially just stayed up. Eric eventually came by with, I can say Adam's name because Adam did nothing wrong. Adam was innocent. Actually, Adam did like apparently disappear at one point in the night, and people got really upset with him about that.
Yeah, it's a meme now.
It's a meme now that Adam just disappears. Adam's one of the freshmen that me and Eric have adopted into our lives.
Also my son.
Oh, your son has joined?
No. Adam's also my son.
Well,
I have many sons, and they correspond with different people's children.
There's a lot of intermingling.
I see one of my sons might be watching though, so hello, son.
Might be, yeah.
Because
Caleb, you watching?
Caleb, my son.
My son, if he's watching, he might have just popped by and left.
Might have.
Because we can see who's the number of people watching.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you knew that. This is too advanced for me.
No. So yeah, only 3 people are watching right now. So the level of stress is like
very low.
Yeah. Really, this show's just for me to get to know people better, and like this is the secret behind the It's not really a secret, but it's for me to get to know people better.
Yeah.
Learn new things in general, and for I guess the people I interview and the families of them who would want to see it and like have it as like oh, this is a part of their life. So we stayed up really late. We ended up going to Perkins. Like we stayed up till like 9 in the morning.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was like we went to Peoria and stayed up all night.
Oh yeah, because it was a full. Because it had been over 24 hours for me because I had gotten up early that day before because I had class.
It was just not a. I mean, it was a good time. I look upon it fondly, and it was a great night.
It was fun.
But
Mountain Water is now a sponsor.
Ice Mountain Water, drink it always. It's the only water to drink, really.
Yeah. It's all gone, so it did its job of hydrating.
Of hydrating all of us. So that's a story about Knox. And I think in that story is shown A, drink safe. Yeah. B, we have this thing where we like to take care of people. And in that, this is something we also share.
Yep.
Might get a little deeper here. We both share a quality about ourselves that we sometimes get really preoccupied with helping other people, that we don't take care of ourselves as much.
Yep.
We get really absorbed to other people's problems.
True.
So I've been dealing with that by trying to go to the gym, like take care of myself physically. I've actually been making my bed now. It's like just an extra little like simple way of taking care of myself. And really, I think the hardest thing, and you might agree, is changing the way you think. I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, I mean, I call people my kids, but I recognize that they're not my kids.
Yeah.
And that they're adults roughly the same age as I am by maybe not a year. So, like, I know that they can take care of themselves, and, like, I know they have other people they can ask for help. And, like, there's been times where people are like, can you do this? And I'm like, no, I can't right now. I'm too busy, or, like, I have my own thing going on, so I can't. So, like, you have to be able to say no, but also, like, you can have that connection with someone, but still be like, you have to, like, at the end of the day, recognize, like, even as a mentor, too, like, you have to take care of yourself first, because if no one's taking care of you, how are you going to take care of, like, all those other people?
Yep. I was once told, if the well runs dry, you have no water to give.
Yeah.
You gotta keep yourself healthy. Yeah, because I for a while very much self-deprecation in a lot of sense, and then I'm like, actually, it was because I was going through Marcus Aurelius' Meditations to get quotes for a poem I want to write, and there's one that just said, then it kind of like shook me a bit. It was like, who would accept praise from someone who curses themselves 3 times an hour?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, like how am I gonna help other people or like encourage other people if I'm constantly degrading myself?
Yeah, you have to like,
because then what, you're getting praise from someone who thinks they're awful.
Yeah, I mean, you have to like be able to like, I don't know, like my whole thing at Knox since I was a freshman was like every term I do something that's a little bit out of my comfort zone, like just enough that it's like a bit uncomfortable for me, but not enough so that I'm like, I hate this. So like sophomore year, it was like, I'm actually going to improv.
Yeah.
Like every term I take like at least one class where I'm like, I wouldn't usually take this. So like I always do like little things because like, I don't know, the kind of the pride in yourself that you get from trying to like test a little bit of a limit that's like still kind of like a safe like distance.
Safe, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, because like if you have an idea of yourself that you want to get to, it makes sense to take like very small things that you like. I like have one goal per term to like expand yourself as a person.
Yeah.
To like get there, and then that helps you like be able to help other people because you're like, oh, here, like I'm always constantly expanding.
Yes.
So
always growing. I think growing is always the word I use.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's also like oftentimes the ideas we have of ourselves are very vague.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you do stretch yourself, you kind of get this idea of like, oh, not this, or oh, this. And you kind of start to make the edges and outline of like who you are, like what you are capable of, what you like to do, what you don't like to do. And that builds who you are as a person. And there are things other than the things we try, because also sometimes life will kick you and make you realize, oh, this part of myself is not
what I thought.
like grief or like, I don't know, a person who's walked into your life and you're like, whoa, this person, either in a positive or negative way.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes both. Sometimes it orients for both.
Yeah.
And that drastically affects how we view ourselves. And so I've been trying to view myself more positively in a sense. And yeah, I mean, oftentimes, I'm sure you've experienced this, like you give someone advice and you're like, oh, I don't think I gave good advice. All right, or you second guess yourself. You're like, oh man, that was very cliched advice.
I mean, also it's like, I don't know. I know for me personally, I give better advice to people than I can ever give myself.
You can never give to, yeah.
I'm just like, oh, like there was, I think, I was helping my friend, like she was like, oh, I need to write like this professor something. And I'm like, oh, just say this. And like the way I said, I'm like, get that down because I'll never
say that
again. And can you send it to me? Because like I need it.
There's this line of separation because like you can look at someone else's situation and objectively go, do this.
Yeah, it's like more clear to you because you're not
in it.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, it's so much harder to see, which is why, you know, sometimes you need to taste your own medicine. Like people give you advice that you would normally give. Like anytime someone gives me advice that I always give, I just go, dang. Like I just got told.
Yeah.
I just was like, they were like, come on, you tell me this. I've had people that I've given advice for a situation come to me and go, you literally gave me advice on this situation. Like, boom. I'm like, dang.
Yeah. Whoops.
And that's part of it too, living up to your own ideals, living up to your own advice.
Yeah.
Which is harder than it sounds. Because I think we're all full of wanting to help people, but also like caring for ourselves. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, in what ways do you just sort of tell yourself like, at the end of the day, you need to take care of yourself in order to take care of other people? Yeah,
that and like, I don't know. I'm kind of good about spacing my time out. So I'm like, oh, my time is spaced in a way where I can help this person, but also I'm like busy at this time. Or like, I don't know. I try and like keep my schedule open, but also in a way that I'm like, I have to do homework at this time. So I'm going to write down, I'm just going to do homework. So, like, I don't know, you can budget yourself in a way where you're like, I know this time, like, if something actually comes up and I need to help someone, like, it's there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just homework time. But also, like, I'm not going to be bothered at this time unless it's, like, something that someone really needs. So, I don't know. That's kind of one way. Or just, I don't know. I think the main thing for me that I've been thinking about recently is just, like, I'm not the only person helping this person. So, like, I can be like, oh, you know, I'm kind of busy right now, but is, like, can we talk about it, like, at this time? Or, like, because, I mean, not every situation is going to be like that. But if it's, like, a very small problem, you can be like, oh, can this wait till, like, how about I meet you, like, for dinner at this time? Or, like, over food is a good way to, like, just be like, oh.
And I totally relate to that because especially, like earlier we were like, yeah, kids, it's like, this person is my adopted child too. And it's sort of that moment of, like, it's my adopt, but it's also
mine.
like,
I'm not responsible for you though. Like,
yeah, and it's like, of course they should have multiple people they come to for advice. Like, I feel like there is an inherent selfish, like, you want to be everything for a person. It's like, well, of course you can't be because you're not, right?
And even, like, within the organizations, because I talk about trio and I talk about, like, improv, but, like, I know I'm not the only person that's trying to take care of this person in trio or in improv.
Yeah.
Like, I know everyone else in the organization's also got their back, so I could be like, oh, here, I'm going to drop you off with like,
this person.
The people that I know are already assembled. Yeah. Talk to them about it while I have to go do my thing, and then I'll come back.
Like, I think that's part of why, because I used to be the kind of person that'd be like, oh, this person's having a problem. I'm going to talk to them about it right now.
Yeah.
But I've kind of become more like, let them come to me.
They really need it. Like, they kind of have to figure it out themselves too. Otherwise, they're not going to learn. So then you're going to always have to be, like, helping them. And, like, that's not healthy for you to be, like, always helping them.
That's why
you have to kind of, like, let them learn slowly and then, like, be like, oh, why don't you try? And then let them kind of figure it out from there.
Sometimes I'll just give this series of advice of just follow your heart, follow your gut, follow your mind. It's like, well, that's everything. It's like, yeah, just do. Yep. And then you'll learn from that.
Just do.
Because sometimes it's like, I want to give an advice that's, like, very clear and, like, just do this. And then it's like, that's not really helpful.
Yeah.
You need to tell them to, like, experience life and all its struggles and all its unfortunateness, but also all its pleasantness and its surprises. And, as we all have and all will continue to. So, yeah, that's something we both share. But also, like you were saying, yeah, I've now added things to my brain.
I hope I have as well.
Of, like, oh, that makes sense. Like, the whole, there's other people. Too.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking, like, you were saying that, and then last night Eric was saying, like, I was it's like a part of you that's like, but I want to be like the.
Yeah.
But then it's also like that moment of, like, it makes so much sense. Like, other people, like, of course they need to take it from multiple places. Otherwise, you're only getting it from one place, and it's like, what is life? Like, I do that. I don't just listen to Josh all the time.
True.
Right? You got to get it from multiple places.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important thing that I've now added to my brain. Like, something that's so obvious, but, like, oh.
Yeah, and I mean,
Sherlock.
Like, we, like, set it up as, like, little, like, I don't know. I think of, like, both of them as, like, little families. So it's like, it's a little family, so, like, you don't have to be that role the whole time. Exactly. You can be, like, you can take a step up and take a step back when you need to with, like, how your situation's going. Because you're going to also be the one that needs help eventually, too. So, like, you have to still be, like, open to getting help. So.
Ooh, that's a hard one. Sometimes
that's hard.
It's hard.
It's
like,
harder.
anytime I'm sure with something, I'm like, no, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. And it's like, no, you know what? I do need to talk to someone about this. So, definitely.
Even if you have, like, the same, like, go-to people, like, when you talk about stuff, too, it's like...
Of course. Like, you're close to them and you relate to them. Now I feel wholesome. Honestly. That was something I wanted to talk because I know we both shared that.
Yeah.
So we talked about, like, last year, either winter or spring.
Yeah, I think it was, like, spring.
Yeah.
It might have been winter, too.
It might have been, like, late winter term.
I don't know. Winter was no, it was... Fall was, like, the rough term for me because I had night class. It was not the best.
So we've talked about that. Oh, I mean, while we're on the more philosophical stuff, this is a question that I kind of want to ask, like, everyone I interview to a certain extent. like, because the fact of life
Mhm.
is that times are going to suck.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What are some things that you remind yourself or things you do, just things that get you through those rough patches in life? Bestow your wisdom of, or at least your own personal experience of how you get through those rough patches in life.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, I'm very work oriented, and like school is like it.
Mhm.
So like if I need like a time off, I just like, we're not doing homework today. I'll do homework eventually in a day. I give up easily.
Yeah.
But I'm like, right now we're just gonna put everything down and like walk. So like when I'm at Knox, and like the thing that helps me the most, like mainly just, it's been a long couple years here. So like when I think of problems, I think of things like in relation to classes.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I'm gonna walk and get food, and then I'll come back. It's like, get off campus, get away from everything, and then come back. Because like as soon as you get off campus, you're like, oh, thank God. I forgot there's a different world that's like not just this academic setting. So like it's nice
And
to just
that beautifully relates to anything.
Yeah.
Just take a step back. Like, you know, you're in this really bad mental place, or like you're just in this really bad situation. Find a way to get yourself away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way, like whatever it is. Like maybe it's watching a funny YouTube video, or maybe it's hanging out with friends, or
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's healthy, you don't go out and drown your sorrows in alcohol or
Yeah,
do
I mean,
anything
it's
like
like,
that. But
if you can find a way to take a step back, or like make yourself realize that it's not like the thing that you have in front of you isn't the most important thing.
Mhm.
There are other things. So like if something happened and this goes wrong, you're not gonna die.
Yeah.
There's gonna be other things. Like no matter if you succeed or fail in that. Like usually I'll walk and get food or get Chinese. Like I just will walk to Joy Garden.
just
Sit.
get food. Yeah.
It's like my comfort foods. I'm going. So
No, that's very true. Well, dang.
what do you do? I need more tips.
Well, I have recently, because of things like it last year.
Yeah.
I find really diving into the simple things. I guess I kind of agree with the getting away from it. Because when Cody first died, that same night I went to Improv
Mm.
to like get away.
Yeah.
I don't even get away, but just to like recognize that life is still going. And I think in general, like I have so much appreciation for the small things now. Because when I think about like me getting through what I went through and what I am still going through, let's be fair, like it's never really over. A lot of it, and that was right in the mic. A lot of that was just people saying hi, or smiling at me, or making me laugh, or saying have a good day, or like see you later. Like just small, beautifully simple things that like you and everyone in improv, and like just the simple things that people do. I just cherish that so much. Like small talk, my favorite thing. As I'm sure some people know. I love to just go, so how's your day been? And you're like, okay, because those conversations can lead into other conversations too. And I think it hits a core of a person, even if they don't realize it. Because their response to how have you been, or how's your day been, shows so much about like how they've been.
Yeah.
Or like, I think it reveals more than people realize sometimes. And I could just be reading way too much into it too. That's also very possible. But like, yeah, the simple things. So like, I try to, when I'm going through a rough patch, I try to be with people. That's one of two things. I either do the whole walk by yourself thing, but also what helps incredibly is to be with other people, recognize that you're loved, and really appreciate those simple everyday things.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my jargon.
And like I think too, like not every problem you can just like kind of put stuff down and like walk away from either. Like that's usually the ones that I'm dealing with like here on campus at least. So I'm like, oh, I can put stuff down and like go walk and like see a different face and like let that be a nice thing. But like for like stuff like you went through, like you have to find like a different way of dealing with it, because it's something that kind of can follow you in a way that like a lot of the stuff like here and like what people are experiencing like on campus isn't really like something you can walk away from. You have to like kind of process through it.
Yeah, you have to process it, and sometimes you gotta just straight up face it.
Yeah, true.
Like that's what oftentimes the walking by yourself is. It's like going, okay, I'm gonna walk, think about it, and like
Yeah.
face it head on. And also, when in doubt, if you are in a situation where like you are thinking you could be a harm to yourself,
Yeah, definitely.
go to counseling.
Yep.
That is the thing to do. It's not bad to do. Go do it. Here's the whole shebang. You should do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, so that's nice, and I think that means very true. So there you go. That's a question we've asked. I don't know if I'll ask it every time, but I feel like people would have unique answers, or
Yeah, I think so.
I will stop asking if I find the answers at the exact same.
Yeah, true. I feel like they probably won't be though.
They'll vary.
They'll be like a little bit different.
Some people will be like, I freaking punch a wall. And I'm like, that's awesome. That sounds great. And those will be wonderful times. Okay, I guess we should go back to the thing you don't want to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Which is, you're a senior. You're about to leave Knox.
Yep.
And move on to something.
Yep.
So I know you're still debating about whether or not to do grad school, correct? Or are you like?
I'm probably gonna go.
Yeah, you're thinking
I'll
you're gonna
probably go.
Okay. So I know grad school is sort of a more stressful thing. You're wanting to do it with, you decided sociology or anthropology?
I say, yeah, sociology is the one that I decided on because like anthropology is more culture, sociology is more like kind of groups and institutions. Which is like more with what I usually talk about anyway, so it makes sense to do sociology.
I was going to say, which as we've learned today, is the thing you really like, is groups of people and sort of observing them. Like, clearly we've learned that through this. Via improv and trio, it's something you enjoy. So, what are just some things you want to do after you're through school? Like, not even job. Just like, what are some things
just
you
like
want to
life
do?
goals eventually.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Oh, okay. That's different than what you
after you
asked
go?
like in the gizmo.
Really?
That's a little bit different because you made it more sound like jobs. No, what jobs?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Well,
so.
that's because I know you don't know what jobs yet. So like,
So I mean,
what are just some
going
things
into
you wanna
grad
do
school
with
kind of makes sense with because I do like helping people, and it would make sense to try and go into like a professorate sort of track.
Yeah.
For me, or get into a different position that's kind of like trio that like helps like younger people. But as far as like overall goals, at some point I want to just do a road trip. Not even like, not driving, but like travel. Because I've only really been to the Midwest and like Florida to go to Disney World. So like, and like I went with one of my Knox classes. I went to Peru for like 2 weeks, and I really liked that we just kind of like traveled all through the whole country, like every day we were in a different city. So like I want to be able to do that like in the U.S. because I feel like I haven't seen enough of the U.S. to like know the whole of it, since it's kind of like different pockets of stuff.
Yeah, no, the U.S. is so diverse and wild.
I wanted to be able to do that at some point, but also budgeting to get that to happen.
Yeah.
So that's like one overall goal. And even if that happens like slowly too, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the main like big fun thing that I'm trying to plan for myself after graduation.
Yeah.
Is like, here's a little trip to get away from it all and see
I'm sure
stuff.
there are really cheap ways to get around the country.
Yeah, I've been looking to try and find some
like really cheap ways.
Trains or
trains
and stuff.
Well, dang.
But
see, that's something I want to do too. As also,
I think everyone wants to, but then no one does. It probably won't happen, but we'll see.
Oh, don't say that. You're gonna do it.
Eventually, I'll have to travel somewhere outside of the Midwest.
If you don't, I will. One day I'll be like, I'm just going on a worldwide trip, and I'm dragging like 50 people along with me.
50? That's larger than a bus.
I'll drag people with me. People who have specifically said to me they want to travel. I'll be like,
I mean, you could rent like a whole bus and just go.
Just go.
It would be cheaper for everyone if they pooled it.
Just saying.
Improv road trip.
Improv road trip around the world.
Shadow Council road trip.
Shadow Council road trip. I'd be down. Oh man. So, I normally reserve 2 hours. It's 6:20.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other things we could talk about. I mean, your senior research, I suppose we could finish with that and then go to sort of the end stuff.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and study improv club, and how people in improv club kind of manipulate like their kind of identities in scenes. So like kind of looking specifically at gender because that's something people talk a lot about with comedy. But I'm gonna not just do Knox. I'm gonna try and compare it to either like Bradley or Monmouth. I'm waiting to hear back from them if I can study them or not. Just kind of be like, Knox has this open structure, so we have a lot of members. Both of them are audition based, smaller numbers. So how does that affect how you like who's in the club first of all, then what kind of comedy they do because they have those kind of
like what kind of demographics are in the
like
club?
what kind of demographics are in the club, kind of how they kind of see themselves because of the structure. Like Knox, where like anyone can come, but like somewhere that has like auditions, like not everyone can come unless it's like open rehearsal or something.
I imagine that would put a stress on like how skilled they are and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So like also because of us, like we accept anyone and we teach, so the kind of group is more varied than like one of those clubs where it's like we're doing shows for pay every week.
Man.
So just kind of seeing like how that's different and kind of how like since it like our Knox club is more relaxed too, like does that affect the level of like comedy that we're doing? Like is it more relaxed too, or is it like what kind of jokes are we going for versus them who's like trying to get more pay?
I remember because you brought up no, that totally makes sense. And you were bringing up earlier the gender thing, which really made me think about the scenes I do, like where women get stuck with mom roles or like like people end up stuck in these like really specific roles in improv scenes. Yeah.
That's kind of like a cross, like at least professional improv. That's kind of the gist is like it's a male dominated field, even though it started by a woman.
Anyway.
But like how some of the shows are set up and how the comedy kind of relies on like basic assumptions. A lot of those assumptions kind of come from different roles and like how to play them quickly to establish that like things like everything you need like within those first couple of lines, and that can kind of put women in like, oh, I'm the mom, I'm the girlfriend, I'm like the waitress,
and that's your role.
That's it. That's all you get. But like with guys, they can be anything. So like I don't know. For our club, I've kind of noticed like we have more the women in our club branch out a lot more, and I kind of want to see if that's true with the other college clubs too. If it's kind of like
if it's maybe a new generation.
If it's like, is it just a younger people thing, or is it since there's like a hierarchy with them that's different than ours, are they just still in that like you're the mom?
Yeah.
So and like a lot of people like to be the mom, like
also,
that's fine.
Yeah,
it's
a more professional like too, because like you were saying, it'd be easier to just go for those obvious.
Yeah.
So like as a professional, we're kind of like we want to set up the things we can actually do the things and do this.
And also we do long form too, which long form as like in like the literature they talk about how when you think of stand-up you think of men because it's more like off the hand jokey, but for like more theatrical stuff you think more like towards women because it's character development, and the character development is considered more like feminine than like the just offhand jokes, which is considered more masculine.
That's why we call them dad jokes.
Yeah, like dad jokes, like it's just one-liners, that's it. But for like us as a troupe, we do long form, so we take the time to develop out those characters in a way that like if you do short form, which is mainly like the
quick,
where the jokey like here we go, that they kind of tend to put together. Like it might also affect like we're open, we have a large population, and we do like long form, which is more feminine according to people that write about it. And then like if they are more like closed, they might rely on that like assumption and then more like masculine idea of like jokey. So I don't know. I'm just kind of interested to see what I find.
Oh yeah,
what like by just comparing the clubs.
By comparing the clubs, looking really intently at all that. I of course will really want to hear about that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see like. I hope they email me back. But we'll see.
Bradley's emailed you back though?
I'm waiting for both.
Okay.
So we'll see which one.
Well, that's super. I can't wait. I know you haven't really done it yet. You're on your progress to doing it, but once you do it, let me know. maybe spring term I can have you on again, like I did Kai that one time.
Yeah.
Like talk about what you found in your research.
That'd be cool.
That'd be so fun.
You should just interview like all the seniors all at once. Be like,
here's your
everyone give like your 5-minute spiel.
5 minute. Like if you saw that Kai show, I think.
Oh
like,
yeah, true. It was longer.
We spent a long time just talking about each part of it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So before I head to the last question, I'm going to open it up real fast to the people who are here. If you have a question, you may give it if you desire.
Has there been a problem with too many questions?
No, I just
one question.
Want to make it clear. A question.
A question.
My neck's actually. Maybe it's because I've like been turned like this whole time. My neck's like starting to hurt.
Yeah.
I feel like a question came in. Oh, okay. It's just I got to go.
Hello.
Interesting show though. Goodbye, Amber.
Have a good day, Amber.
Yeah, have a good day. If anyone has any questions, put it now. If not, I'm going to end it here in a bit after a question that I ask every time.
Yep.
But have you had a good time?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to come.
Yeah, while you're on the pressure of being on the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine you just go, no, it sucked.
Yep.
It was a bad time.
Oh, yeah, of course parents can come. It's like open to everyone. My parents are coming. I hope. Mom, if you're out there, are you coming? I know you're staying at my apartment.
Yeah.
So parents can come. It's open. And, like, I guess even if parents are there for, like, a rehearsal, they can come. Because it's open rehearsals to everyone on campus. So, like, parents can come to rehearsal, too, technically. Technically.
I don't know if I'd
like,
recommend.
I mean, rehearsals can be a little more, like...
Shows are PG-13.
Yeah, but
rehearsals are, like, whatever.
I feel like people would, like, change it if they knew your parents were there. But it also might just be, like, Mom, Dad.
But shows, yeah, you can.
Yeah, shows are open to everyone.
There you go. So that's a question.
But
thing. Is it hard to believe you've done this for like an hour and a bit?
I can't believe it's been that long though.
Because at first, when you're going through it, it's sort of like, oh my gosh, it's only been 11 minutes. But then, like as soon as you get past like the 30-minute mark, you're just in it.
That's how it was when I was doing my research over the summer though too. Because I would do interviews. It was just like the first bit, you're like, oh my gosh. Like the first 10 minutes is always like the boringest, and then after you get past that, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that I have to transcribe like 2 hours worth of stuff now.
And we've talked about a lot.
Yeah,
in this too. We did. We went through everything on here besides the heart condition, but I don't find that super interesting because I already know it's just a heart condition.
True.
Literally, it's not very interesting. It's like talking about brown hair. It's not that interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, sort of. Whoa! It jumped up to. Sorry. Yeah, sure. Sure. If you run by, that just means you'll probably buy me things. So that's nice. But it jumped up from 2 to 4. So again, questions. I'll probably wait till like it's an hour and 4.
Oh, it jumped back to 2 again.
Oh, they just said.
They got scared by you pointing out their presence.
Yeah, and they just decided they had to go. So yeah, but I'm glad you came.
Yeah,
I'm glad the audio is good, and I'm glad everything's working out. So you know what? I might just end it after I ask the question I always ask.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that probably, unless something happens. I'm doing it. Okay. Yes, do now. So, Jaki, it's the question I always ask at the end of the show. If you could say anything to a future you looking back watching this, or your family, or anyone, or just someone watching this, what would you say? Probably primarily future you, because not many other people watch it. So primarily future you. What
future me watching. I hope you weren't too disgusted by the sound of your voice. You know how when you hear yourself back, you're always like, oh, it sounds so wrong. I always sound a lot more high-pitched in recordings than I think I am. But like as a serious note.
No, I'm like, that's rocking. But...
I mean, I don't know. I've listened to myself too often having to transcribe stuff. I don't like the sound of my voice because it's an octave higher. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I hope you get to all of the goals that you have and just kind of like settle into like a comfy lifestyle that's like still in contact with everyone here at Knox in some way, because I really like everyone that I've like met here. I want to make sure that I like keep those relationships going even after I graduate.
So there you go.
Woo.
Future Jaki, you heard that. Do it. Hopefully. Hopefully you're in a good place.
If
So
not, find people.
if not, this is the past. It doesn't matter. If not, so thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
This has been great. I'm gonna end the video now. We love you all. We will see you around. Goodbye.